The Apprentice, Ross was an official genius and usually the smartest person in the room. But his IQ wasn't big enough to beat Joanna or impress Lord Sugar, by Jim Shelley. Some of the material on The Apprentice was so unprecedented it put even Blue Planet 2's sensational revelations in the shade. Rare footage of Joanna smiling and actually laughing. A fish swallowing a bird whole had nothing on that. After painstakingly work by the BBC film crew, the Mancunian marketing manager was caught on camera out of her usual protective, stroppy, shell looking happy after a joke by Lord Sugar to Charles, a candidate from Vitality, about chopping off a piece of doeskin from his manhood. Charles' manhood, that is, not Lord Sugar's, although that didn't make the joke any funnier. Scroll down the video. Later we then saw Joanna crying tears of joy when she led her team to victory, incredible for two reasons. Only one person could have relished this week's show more than Joanna, Lord Sugar himself. In a previous episode, the East End wheeler dealer had already taken great delight in giving the finger to a lawyer, Elliot Van Emden, a virtual act of class war you imagine after all the times they've shafted him over the years. He rarely misses the chance to take the mick out of anyone posh or brainy, but not even Lord Sugar gets many opportunities to fire an official genius, as Ross described himself in his CV. Statistically speaking, the CEO of pet training app Kibble explains to Sugar smugly, if you take an average room of people in the UK, I am usually the smartest person in the room. I actually do have the IQ of an official genius, which I'm kind of proud of. Sugar's response was probably not what he expected or exactly encouraging. Really? His lordship scoffed, as if having a high IQ was something to be embarrassed about rather than impressed. Well, statistically speaking, you have not really performed, Sugar quipped. Touché. This is one of my favorite tasks. His lordship told the candidates announcing the list round which this year he'd given a twist. For once the 9 items the teams had to locate and purchase shared a common theme, him. These 9 items mark some of the milestones of my life and career, he explained modestly. They ranged from mundane targets like a Tottenham Hotspur scarf, an Amstrad computer, and a car aerial, the product that Sugar started his career as a salesman with as a 16-year-old, to more mysterious products labeled Scarlet Doeskin and Rouge Lac. This task is about sourcing, negotiating, and strategy skills, Karen Brady summed up, and would test their approach to logistics and initiative. Good luck with that. You thought. Sure enough, as usual with this round, what the task showed us about the candidates' skills at sourcing, negotiating, and strategy was that they didn't have any. Contestants from big cities such as Nottingham and Sheffield were so dazzled by the bright lights of London they lost all basic understanding of navigation, and those that did live in the capital, like Vitality's project manager Sajjan and Graffin's sub-team leader Bushra, weren't much better. Graffin randomly split up the items. They still don't know what 2 of them are. And have no real idea where they're going. Carped Karen Brady. Apart from that, it was a great plan though. Over at Vitality, Claude Littner growled, to the extent that there ever really was a plan, I don't believe Sajjan is following it. Once again Vitality gifted victory to Graffin by securing only 6 of the 9 items and thus incurring 3 fines that guaranteed defeat. Being so clueless about logistics and planning as supposed business brains/entrepreneurs was bad enough, their inept performances suggested they hadn't actually seen The Apprentice before. Even though there was a prize of $250,000 investment for the winner, they clearly hadn't studied previous series to learn from their predecessors' mistakes, which on this task were myriad. Here are 12 of the dumbest moments in this week's episode. 1. Sajjan's kamikaze patter. Lord Sugar. The loquacious losing project manager began, unprompted, after his colleague Ross had been fired, nearly digging not so much a hole for himself as a tunnel out of the show. 2. Elizabeth's ecstatic celebration of the team spirit behind Graffin's victory. There have been people in our team that have basically ridden along on other people's coattails. When the teams get mixed up with guys that are really strong, they're just going to get eaten up. And that was when they won. 3. Aniza's hopeless optimism about Graffin's team spirit. "Hopefully we won't have as many arguments now," Aniza said after James had joined the girls. "Joanna, I've got a lot to think about, like who to make sub-team leader. Jade, other people have been PM. They've had loads to